Man of Tomorrow is shaping up to be the pivotal point in the early stages of the DCU. James Gunn has confirmed on multiple occasions that this is not a true follow-up or sequel to Superman. However, this is where the wider DCU is going to take shape. In this video, we'll discuss what's known about the upcoming movie, as well as talk about some theories that could possibly happen as well. What's going on, everyone? Slav from Slav's Free Talk here, and we are going to dive into Man of Tomorrow. What are we going to get from this film? Well, we know James Gunn has already stated that this movie is as much a Lex Luthor film as it is a Superman movie. I think that alone kind of tells us that we're really diving into something a lot deeper and larger than what we got in Superman. And yes, I know Brainiac is confirmed that Lars Eddington is playing this character, and I'm more excited than probably anybody else about this. However, what could this mean? What is Brainiac doing on Earth? Well, one working theory could be that Brainiac arrives for an Extinction-Level threat, and because of that, Earth is completely outmatched. And then suddenly, Superman and Lex have to work together. Reluctantly, of course. No, this isn't going to be about them becoming friends. This is about survival of the planet. I fully expect a very uneasy alliance between Lex and Superman when that alliance does take place. Egos will clash, they will mistrust each other, so on and so forth. And let's not mince words here. Lex helping Superman doesn't mean that all is forgotten or that he has changed. No, it's Lex. And at any moment, he could strike as he looks for an opportunity himself. And yes, Brainiac is going to be the real big bad in this film. And I know a lot of people think that they were going to be adapting Panic in the Sky. However, James Gunn has pretty much stated that he's read almost every comic that involves Brainiac, and he's kind of borrowed and taken from all of those comics to create this story. So I would expect to see something a little familiar, yet something new in the James Gunn flair. And now, like I said a little bit ago, I think Brainiac is going to have some sort of global threat to him. Obviously, there's going to be a massive technological superiority that he brings. Could he be looking to shrink cities or harvest data? Who knows? But I think Brainiac is going to be that villain that causes humanity to level up fast. And this is the exact kind of threat that we need to see in this universe right now to really showcase and highlight why these metahumans need to actually be around and be trusted. Now, obviously, Lex Luthor is a wild card. Like I said, he could just be looking for the right opportunity to strike himself. However, I think that there's going to be partial redemption for him in this film, at least from the standpoint of the world, of the citizens of the world. Why? Because I think you need to get him to the level where he was in the comics, where he could potentially be the President of the United States. Now, I think he starts out the film disgraced, in prison. Maybe Rick Flag is the one who pulls him in. Maybe it's Superman himself who goes to him and says, look, there's this technological threat. You're the person I know that knows technology better than probably anybody else. I need your help. And it's not going to be because he trusts him, but it's going to be because they need him. Like I said, I don't think this is going to be your typical redemption arc. For the public eye, absolutely. But when it comes to the whole metahuman aspect in Lex Luthor, I think that's where things are going to get very interesting, because he will be fighting two battles, maybe even three battles. One, to get the public to really appreciate him again. The second is to not become too buddy-buddy with Superman, but maybe even learn his weaknesses, all while fighting Brainiac as well. I think this could be a really, really interesting movie for Lex Luthor. Now, we know the Justice Gang exists already. Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho now, Green Lantern. But the question is, at this point, could this be a pseudo-Justice League? Are we going to get to a Justice League in this film? I think it's a good bet that we're going to see the incarnation or the beginnings of the Justice League in this movie. I think Superman is going to realize that he needs to be part of a team, and maybe even teaming up with Lex Luthor wasn't the best idea, so he falls back on his old familiar friends. However, let's not forget that in the background going on, you have Rick Flag gathering up metahumans and throwing them into a place called Salvation. This could be an interesting dynamic that is kind of a side story as well. Where are these heroes at? Why does Superman need to team with Lex Luthor? And I think that is probably what it is. He's probably needing to team up with him because the other metahumans are just gone and or missing. So by the end of it, I think we're going to see other heroes, maybe the bigger names such as Batman, Wonder Woman, maybe Martian Manhunter and others pop up in a cameo type of role to help establish a new Justice Gang or Justice League of sorts, while they then have to find their other friends such as Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Metamorpho, Mr. Terrific, so on and so forth. Now, this is a big one I know for a lot of people. Will Superman get a new suit in this movie? I think he should. Not because the suit in Superman wasn't good. I just like to see that evolution of a character as he starts to grow and become something more in the eyes of the public, in the eyes of being a hero, so on and so forth, that you adapt the character a little bit and make him look slightly different and more heroic or even more stoic in some way. I also like the idea of, because of the past that he learned about his parents, and utilizing that suit and crest is coming from specifically that whole angle of things. I would love for him to maybe transition to another type of S look, and maybe even have his mother help create that suit for him. I think that could be really cool, fun, and interesting in this movie. Do I think it's going to happen? Unfortunately, no. There's only so much time that you have in a movie, so it'd be really difficult to do that, but I could see a new suit being involved in this film, just not a big backstory like I just went. And again, back onto who could the cameos be? I know a lot of people want to see people like Wonder Woman and Batman and Martian Manhunter. I'm still up in the air on that. I think that it would be a good idea to bring them into this film and to really start to establish them within the DCU, but I also know that this movie is going to be chock full of other characters, and it's kind of tough. You don't want to shortchange some of these players, and also you don't want people to get all upset because you stuffed this movie full of all these other characters, blah, 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 and that kind of stuff. It's kind of like, I would love to see Wonder Woman, I would love to see Batman, so on and so forth, but I think it's going to be really tough to make this all work and fit. Now, it can easily happen depending on how big the cameo part is and things like that, how big their role would be, but I think we're not going to get a bunch of cameos. Wonder Woman, I think, is probably the most likely, with Batman being a very, very distant second when it comes to the big two there. We do know that Maxima is going to be in this movie, who's another character that we have never seen in live action before, at least in the big screen, on the big screen. Will she initially be aligned with Brainiac? I think so. I think she will be, but I think in the end she will come to the other side and realize that Superman is this symbol of hope. Will we see Supergirl in this film? Maybe. I mean, we'll see how her film ends this year and see where that leaves her, if it's something that's even possible for her to be involved with this film. But let's get down to, what could the meaning of Man of Tomorrow even be? Well, Man of Tomorrow has always been a moniker for Superman himself, where he is the Man of Tomorrow, the man of the future, the man of great possibility. But Lex, at least to himself, is the Man of Tomorrow as well. And I think there's going to be a little bit of a play on that in this film. Now, again, I think this movie is going to be a pivotal part for the DCU. I think this is going to be the first real and true escalation event for the DCU. I think it could very easily be the beginning of the formation of the Justice League, and it will be a major momentum shift for Superman in his story. And I think, like I said, this is a very important moment for Lex, as it kind of positions him for greater things in the future. Let me know your thoughts, though. How do you think Man of Tomorrow is going to go? What do you like about this movie so far that we've heard? And what are you hoping to see in this movie? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with all that said, I'll catch you all later.